right, today we're going to start on lesson 4, and that means we're going to be on exercise 12, and it's called First Flight. If you are up to this point, either through experience or having looked at the first 3 lessons, you'll see that we're going to use all 5 notes that we've learned, the B flat, C, D, E flat, and the F in this first flight. It also has a repeat sign at the end, so we'll play it 2 times. Meaning that we are going to repeat exactly what's written. All right, so we're starting on D, and we'll go at a really nice, relaxed tempo here. 1, 2, ready, play. So that's an exercise using all of the notes that we've learned to this point, and so that's that. So you'll want to practice that enough times until you feel pretty comfortable with that. And it has this on exercise 13, it's actually kind of interactive where you're going to fill out the name of the note below the note itself. Now you'll see that it's a little exercise also using all of your notes. And we'll play through it, and it has a repeat sign. 1, 2, ready, play. All right, exercise 13. That's an essential elements quiz. It basically takes everything that we've learned over the last few lessons and puts it together. And so you might want to fill out the little blanks below the notes to make sure that you know the names of the notes and where they sit on the staff. Okay. Once we finish that, we're going to actually get to play our first song. And it's called Rolling Along in the book, and you'll recognize it also as Mary Had a Little Lamb. And so it's got a repeat sign at the end of it. So let's go ahead and play that. 1, 2, ready, play. Okay, and so that's our first song, well known as Mary Had a Little Lamb, called Merrily We Roll Along in here. Okay, we'll take a look at our notes and review real quick at the top of the page. We have the F, the E flat, the D, the C, and the B flat. And below them you'll see the fingerings for each one, which one of them, the F, has no buttons pushed down. And then you have the E flat where you just push down the first valve. You have the D, which you push down the first 2. You have the C, 1 and 3. And then you have the B flat. Again, it's open. And as you've probably noticed, you can play more than one note in open. You can play several. So you can play almost infinitely with no vowels from that point. All right, so let's take a look then at the half note. We're going to learn a half note today. It gets 2 beats rather than just 1, and you'll see how it looks. It has a hole in it rather than being filled out on the stick. And here it is right here. You got the half rest, and it sets on the line. Looks kind of like a hat if you took just it and isolated it with that line. And then, of course, that half rest would equal 2 of the squiggly looking lines, which are quarter rests. All right. So there's that. Let's take a look at this rhythm rap in exercise 15. Nice squeaky chair. Okay. The rhythm rap is something you're just going to clap. And it's like this. 1, 2, ready, clap. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now you would repeat that if you followed the repeat sign. Now you notice that below the line they have all the 1 and 2 and 3, and you can do that. It would sound like this. 1, 2, ready, clap. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, so that's all very exciting, and it helps you to learn to count, and it's very, very beneficial to you to pay attention and to be able to count things like this. You may have noticed that I have a different baritone today. This one is a kind of a European type of a baritone, and it actually is a baritone rather than a euphonium. It's cylindrical. You can see the tubing is very, very thin as compared to the euphonium, even all the way up till around in here, where it finally starts to flare a little bit. And the bell on it's not a whole lot bigger than a trombone. And so this horn is smaller than a euphonium. It's really nice for marching with, and it gets a little bit different of sound. It's kind of a brighter sound, a little bit more like a trombone than a euphonium, I think. But it is easy to play. It's easy to handle. And it's got, as you probably notice, it doesn't have valves. It has rotors like a French horn, if you know what a French horn looks like. And they're flat, and it's a little bit shorter of a throw, so theoretically you can play faster on a horn with rotors than you could on a horn without. Although I'm not so sure about that myself. But they are what they are. A lot of people like rotors, and I'm okay with them. They're no problem. But anyway, that's this horn, and it's just a little different than the euphonium. But it's fun also to play, and it plays. If you can play one, you can play the other. It just gets a slightly different sound. Okay, so we've got Mary Had a Little Lamb that we learned today. We've reviewed our notes, and we had a couple of practical exercises. And those things are something to take a look at. Now, to fill out this lesson, what you want to do is go ahead and play everything in the book that we've played up to this point, starting with exercise 1 and working your way through. And don't forget to warm up playing long tones, play all 5 notes that you've got, and rest in between. Make sure that you rest about as much as you play so you don't mess up your chops. And you probably won't have to worry about that too much longer, but you do want to keep your chops where they're not swelling up or getting like a knot in them and horrible things like I remember happening when I was just a kid. All right, so this is the end of Lesson 4. I hope you all learned something. Continue to practice, and I will talk to you in a while.